Rolling along here from Darlington Raceway, where there is light. We can now look around and see the cars and the tents and the RVs. People are getting up and getting moving here. Jen said today is kind of an off day, no truck racing tonight, so action really gets fired up and going tomorrow. I have to see if we can get a schedule. Normally, we have a little schedule because a lot of activities that take place down here too during the day as we get ready. A couple times we've come down and obviously walked the pits. Normally, as we are wrapping up, about 9 a.m. is about when the haulers start coming in for the little hauler parade that they have. That's pretty cool as well. So we got a lot going on. It looks like way down there, Preston. I think if I look way kind of almost what I'd say in the end zone, if you will, best I can describe it, there's 3 white tents. It looks like maybe where the television crews will be set up down there. We are set up on turn 3 here in the press box, getting you ready for the Goodyear 400. Matter of fact, there's a big, right in front of us, a big Goodyear painting on the track right down there. So
yeah, they do artwork for fans. Am I able to be heard? I need to turn me up.
You are turned up.
I switched mics.
Oh, you switched my. Oh, no, okay.
I plugged in a new one. There I
am. Okay. All right.
Sorry about that. I was trying to get all ready for Josh. But no, they usually do some pretty artwork for those who are big sponsors, like, with the race being the Goodyear 400 on Sunday.
That's right. So, all right. So we got that going. So you race this weekend and women's basketball tonight, set tomorrow night.
Bill, you've left out one major sporting event.
Oh.
I don't know. I know there's some things happening. Obviously, the biggest series of the year for the Braves, biggest series of the years for the Gamecocks. You left out one major sporting event.
What is that?
Coach Skip Holtz and the Birmingham Barons, I believe.
Stallions. I think the
Stallions.
Barons are
my team with my coach attempt four-peat, I think, in the UFL. UFL football has started. Spring football has started. There was some controversy last week. There was a little skirmish between Coach Holtz and another coach, which they lost. It was a major upset. I don't know if you're familiar with the UFL beat, but it was a major upset. But the Birmingham Stallions are looking to win another UFL championship.
And that gets going this weekend?
Well, it got going last weekend.
Last weekend?
Maybe 2 weekends ago.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whatever that. What is it? Is it the XFL? Is it the USFL? Is it the XSFL?
It's the UFL.
UFL.
United Football League.
Okay. All right.
Week 2.
Week 2.
Big upset in week 1.
Big upset.
It was a huge upset in week 1 when the Birmingham Stallions lost to the DC football team.
Do we start our search all over again for a UFL correspondent?
We've been looking. It's a tough job to fill. It's been vacant for 2 years now.
I have to check in and see if Harry Chestenbach is open to that role. He was more suited for the soccer and the lacrosse and everything than he is maybe for UFL football. Final 4 this weekend, though. Are you into it?
Men's?
Yeah. Yeah, women's I think is easy.
That's a really good question. Not really.
This is what we talked about last year. It helps that South Carolina's in it. Let's be honest. If South Carolina wasn't in the women's Final 4, I can't tell you that I would be as invested in tonight's game. I'll go by old-timey meat market, grab some stuff today, and be ready to grill tonight. You heard Captain Dave get the weather there. But, yeah, this is the thing. This is what we talked about last year. The women's tournament, maybe because South Carolina, we have more interest in it. Men's tournament, I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, all right.
I am interested in seeing how Duke has sort of turned – much like the Dodgers. I don't necessarily
have they.
I don't dislike. I don't dislike them as much as I should. I think there's ample reasons why you should dislike Duke. Obviously, coincidentally, if you're a Duke fan, you probably are a Dodger fan also. And it's probably your teams. Yeah, but I don't dislike them. I think I want to see Cooper Flagg
get the championship.
I think I want to see that.
Okay.
I think.
9:20 tip off, whatever. I don't know. Something ridiculously late on Monday night. You got a game that would get you. You got a pairing of these 4 teams that would get you to at least the first half of that game.
Duke. Who does Duke play?
Houston.
Give me Duke Auburn, and I'll be
Auburn rematch.
I'll be there.
They played in Cameron Indoor.
I'll be there for that.
Okay. Yeah. yeah, like Auburn, Florida. Don't get me wrong. Auburn, Florida is going to be a really good game. Florida went into Auburn earlier this year on a Saturday and thumped them. I think it was 90-81. Really unexpected. It's really when I started to take notice of Florida a little bit. But conference on conference, Final Four games
That's a little boring.
really turned me off. Yeah. Houston is actually tough to watch. It's not pleasing to the eye, if you will. You got two different styles there with Duke and Houston. I just we'll see where it goes, but yeah, the Final Four on the men's side, all the fun is gone.
Yes.
And this isn't because I say that every year. I wasn't thrilled with Florida Atlantic and who was it? Florida Atlantic and San Diego State and Connecticut, and I don't even remember who the fourth team was. Let me ask you. This is what I always say about it. Can you name me last year's Final Four? I don't even know if I can do this. Actually,
No, I cannot. The San Diego State year, Florida Atlantic was not Florida Atlantic, Florida International.
Florida Atlantic. You're right.
FIU's the
FAU was the one. Don't whatever they were, whatever. I don't know. They were
Lob City.
Dusty May. Yeah. No, actually, was that Lob City?
No, see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're right. It's very difficult.
That was Florida Gulf Coast a couple years ago.
They kind of go into the breeze. What the point is that the men's tournament is fun in the beginning, and then it kind of peters out at the end. The women's tournament is not as fun in the beginning, and it gets stronger as it goes along. And it's just two different styles of tournaments.
Yeah. No, by the way, the answer to our questions, Final Four last year, NC State, Purdue.
Okay.
Alabama, Connecticut.
Yeah, I remember big man from NC State, was it DJ?
DJ Burns.
Yeah, DJ Burns, that was fun.
Yeah.
Zach Edey, I guess for Purdue, that was kind of cool.
And then you had UConn beat Purdue. Dan Hurley, baby. The guy. 803-404-6100. Speaking of the guy, Mr. Josh Harris has made his way in. He's overseeing his property, just standing here proudly. His chest is out. He's got a big smile. We're going to catch up with him here.
I know that look, man. He's just looking for everything. He's like, what's going on here? I talked about the ADs earlier. Yeah. He's just looking out and just stressed, just looking at it.
He's looking at the light on the Darlington sign like that better stay lit all weekend. If a light bulb goes out, he knows exactly who he's going to. We'll catch up with him. We got half an hour with him coming up next. We'll make some Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge pick'em notes, but it's going to be a fun day. We're thrilled to be down here, Darlington Raceway, hanging out with all the great people down here. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, and joined next by Mr. Josh Harris. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years, they have been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. 30 years. 30 years. That is a long time. And the reason that you get to be the leader and you do something for 30 years is because you do it the right way. And at Mid-State Roofing, they will help you. They'll provide the proper advice, service, and the results that you need for your facility, home or business, to keep your operation dry and running long into the future. And one of the reasons that they're so good is that they're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 7:30 a.m. on a Friday morning. If you've got a leak, Mid-State Roofing is ready to take a peek. You can give them a phone call, and they will have an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee ready to speak with you. That phone number to do just that, 803-356-1919. Again, it's 803-356-1919. You can visit them on the web, midstateroofing.com. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
Got a wreck this morning. This is going to be on Greystone Boulevard, just before I-26, right by Candy Lane and Rivermont Drive. Also, have an accident at UG and Blossom Street. So, problem there. Bad area down by near USC. This morning, 89 for a high, partial clearing skies. Tomorrow, 89 for a high once again, breezy and hot. And Sunday, late day rain, 40% chance of that happening as it moves in. And then Monday, 71 for a high, so cooling off a little bit, 49 for an overnight low, and an 80% chance of rain on your Monday. From the Wetzel Automotive Traffic Center, I'm Captain Dave.
Rolling along live from Darlington Raceway, where Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, and now joined by the president, the man who overlooking his property proudly, Mr. Josh Harris. Welcome in this morning. Glad to see you in person, hanging out with you, not over the phone.
Yeah, it's fun to have you guys here, and it's always good to do these things live. Enjoy calling in every week, but it's a much better view looking out over here than usually either sitting in my car or sitting in the office. So glad to have you. It's going to be a great weekend on tap. You know, we've got a lot of activities going on. We had Track Laps for Charity last night, one of our biggest ever, which was really successful. Had Brad Keselowski out here doing photos in Victory Lane for everybody that participated. And we got a fun day on tap with our campers today, and then everybody hits the track tomorrow. So
yeah, what is I was looking, normally there's I bet it's down there in the media center, but there's like a little schedule. Other things, I use me as an example. Preston, I think I showed you the schedule one time, but for people that don't know, y'all have other little events that are going on today. There was like a cornhole tournament one time, and y'all got kind of a meet and greet. There's a lot of other little things that happen instead of just sitting at your camper and cooking food all day.
Yeah, which there's nothing wrong with sitting at your camper and having a beverage and cooking food all day. But we try to take some fun to the campers. We'll do donut delivery out here in the campgrounds here this morning.
Oh, okay.
Starting about, 8:45, 9 o'clock. It's kind of a surprise and delight type thing. But we also, here in the infield, we've got a little coffee camper set up. And so if you meander over there, you can get free coffee and a donut.
Wow.
But we'll be going around the infield to our outer campgrounds. We got the cornhole tournament later today, so that we'll have a couple of drivers, Noah Gregson coming out. I don't know that they're going to compete, but they're going to be there to have some fun with us. And then later this evening, we put a little cover band on the back of a trailer, take it around to the campgrounds and play for about an hour at each campground just to have a little fun and give our campers a little bit of something else to do. And it gives us a way to get out and talk to people. You know, I talked to a number of our campers as they moved in on Tuesday, and hearing their stories of how many years they've been coming out here is always fun. And it really, to me, it's important to get out and meet as many of our fans as we can, talk to them, hear their stories, hear the things that they love about Darlington and hear the things that maybe they'd like to see different. Now, not say we can do them all, but it's always good to get that feedback. So that'll fill our day throughout the day. We also have Chase Elliott coming to do a couple of things with us around lunchtime today. And so he'll be in and out and around the track, and a number of drivers are doing appearances in the market. So it's a great Friday to start race weekend.
I do love how much they do throughout the community. I know that you've had a couple different drivers in already doing some things like you mentioned. And I think it's fun that they come in and get invested in the community. nice outreach program. So that's they don't just come here. I think some people think they zip in, they get their pole position or whatever, they qualify, they race, and they're out. It's like that's not the case at all for a lot of the drivers.
It's probably some of the best fan engagement, I think, in sports when you just think about the amount of time our drivers spend, whether it's in our communities or with our race fans. I got a list last night. On Sunday, there will be probably 30 of our drivers doing autograph sessions out at their merchandise haulers on Sunday. So a lot of opportunities for fans to get a chance to engage with their favorite driver. With this being throwback weekend, we have a number of former drivers that'll be here this weekend with us. They'll be doing Q&As and autograph sessions in the fan zone Saturday and Sunday. So it's really cool. We had Brad Keselowski here yesterday. I was telling you, about track laps, but before that, he went over to McLeod Hospital with us, and we visited their children's wing, got to hang out with some of the kids that are there, recovering from various illnesses or injuries. And it was really cool just to be able to take them around and do things that impact the community.
Have there been any major changes with the race being on a different weekend this year, or did you hear from the folks, or even for yourself personally?
Well, I think, when you have a date change, you always, in my mind, I had some things that I thought were positives going into it. And one of those being Mother's Day is one of those holidays that we were getting a pretty good crowd, but I think we kind of, maybe hit a point where it's going to be harder to keep getting more mothers or to be able to leave mom at home and come to the race. So I was excited to get a little bit earlier date. You never know about the weather in this time of year. It could be, we're going to have pretty warm temperatures on Saturday and Sunday. It could have been the opposite, but overall, the market's responded well. Our fans have responded. Ticket sales are looking really strong. In terms of any other big changes around here, there's not a whole lot from last year to this year. One of the things that our fans that sit over there in the Tyler Tower, Wallace grandstands, we did renovate some restrooms. So that's one of those things that, it's a necessity and people appreciate it. But it's not something that I can point to and say, look at that new thing, over there.
It's a lot if you do.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm looking behind you. I was laughing with Jen earlier. I saw a truck on here. I was looking at the truck the entire time. I was like, I don't see anybody moving. And then I realized they're up here on the wall. What is occurring down here? Can you give me a breakdown of this? Are we repainting the wall, or we?
Yeah. So what we do in the off season is we repaint all of the solid red and the white. So our team here at the track, they do all the solid colors, and then we have a company that comes in and does all the logos that are on the wall. So what they're doing right now is they're working on the Cookout logo over there in turn 3, turn 4, and they've put various layers. They're working on the black that goes right through the middle of the Cookout logo.
Oh, okay.
And then they've got some others to continue to touch up. So without a race today on Friday, it gives them an extra day to get out there and finalize everything. But you can see as you look around, the walls are nice. There's no stripes. There's no tire marks.
Yeah.
I would say, let's see, the Xfinity cars hit the track on Saturday morning about 10 o'clock for practice. I would give it to about 10:03 before there's a black mark on the wall and somebody's got some Darlington paint on the side of their car.
Yep. I think that's
And
probably
then these guys will be back out there Saturday night touching it all up so that when we get here Sunday, it looks nice and clear, clean, and about a lap and a half into dropping the green flag, we'll probably start to see it get a little darker again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll roll along here. We are again live from Darlington Raceway. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, and joined by the president, Mr. Josh Harris. We'll come back. We'll make some picks, our Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge picks of the week, where it's a big week for Preston.
Big
week. And he's on site, too. So big week. Just big weeks all the way around. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. That's right. It's that time of the year. You heard Captain Dave just give a weather report. It's supposed to be in the 80s this coming weekend. It's going to be warm. That probably means your air conditioner needs to be turned on. And if you flip it on and it's struggling, guess what? It's time to call AAA Heating and Air, because when it comes to HVAC replacements, AAA Heating and Air is the go-to name in the Midlands. They have guaranteed financing, no payments or interest for 12 months, 15-year parts and labor warranty. It's no wonder they're the absolute best in the business. But I'll tell you what, AAA Heating and Air right now is helping you with repairs. That's right. If your system is broken and you're worried about the cost, they've got you covered. They offer up to 12-month payment plans with no credit check for all repairs. Homeowners just need a valid bank account. Call AAA Heating and Air today and tell them Bill Gunner sent you. 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500. Rolling along live from Darlington Raceway as we get you going on your Friday morning, April the 4th. Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, Bill Gunner joined, as always, normally on a Thursday, but because we're in his territory, we're doing it on a Friday morning. Mr. Josh Harris, who is kind of explaining to me, I'm contemplating making a trip down here. We've been down here. We were trying to figure it out. I think this is our 5th time is what I'm going with, I believe. Maybe 4th or 5th. We're trying to third time with you.
Yes.
Last year. So yeah. So
yeah, no, it's 5th, 6th, maybe, because we were here several times, I think, with Carrie as well. So yeah, it's been quite a while we've been coming.
Well, we enjoy it. We always appreciate you having us down. And again, you were giving me off air, and I don't think we had a hot mic, so that would be good news. That'd be good radio on my job. But you were giving me kind of a rundown. Qualifying starts tomorrow for those that want to come down and check it out with the Xfinity Series. And then you got the Cup qualifying tomorrow. Give us a little breakdown on that.
Yeah, so Saturday's always a busy day, typically on any NASCAR weekend. You've got, whether it's Xfinity or Truck, whatever the support series is for that weekend, we'll pack a lot in. So starting about 10 o'clock tomorrow, you got the Xfinity Series. We'll do their practice session and then go out and qualify. That'll lead into about 11:45. Then we'll turn it right around, and the Cup Series will head out, do their practice and qualifying starting about 12:15. And that'll all wrap up sometime around 2:30. And then we'll roll right into getting ready for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Sport Clips Haircuts VFW Help a Hero 200, which will drop the green flag about 3:30 in the afternoon. And then when all that's done, we're going to do a little stock car classic. Some classic stock cars we have here are going to take some laps after the Xfinity race.
Which those are really fun to watch.
It's cool. We have about 20 to 22 cars here from all different eras of stock car racing. That some of these are, owned by people like you and me, and they love kind of keeping them restored, keeping the tradition.
And when you watch them go around, you realize why they didn't go as fast as the cars do now. And also you just think about how the safety advancements are so different than they used to be. This is still a dangerous sport, but exponentially more dangerous. Years ago, they didn't have the Hans device. They didn't have the safer berries, or all the things.
You
Yeah.
know, you go back to the race. What was it? Was it Daytona? Was it Daytona where Ryan Preece?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Flip, was that the
Flipped.
one where his
Yep.
car went flying?
Yeah.
Is that? I mean,
It's like,
I don't.
a little sore.
That was terrifying to watch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, that was literally terrifying to watch.
I mean,
So,
some of the, I mean, you go back to these cars that ran in the 50s and the 60s. It is amazing. They barely have. They were truly drive off the road with the standard seat belt that
Right.
came with it. They, you know, as it got into the later 50s, they started putting some harnesses in. But, you know, these early days of racing, they were driving them literally off the showroom floor and into your tuning them up and
Yeah.
driving them onto the track. And it's just so cool. One of the coolest things we've got out is we've got the car that won the 1959 Southern 500, driven by Jim Reed. It was Goodyear's first ever win in NASCAR. It was here at Darlington. But that car has a little pulley system, a rope and pulley system, and two little doors that open up in the front and back that the driver could pull on. It would open that flap, and he could see the tires on the front and back. That's how he checked his tire wear.
Stop it.
No.
My
I mean,
gosh.
you're talking about like just the creativity for one, but just how basic it was as well.
Yeah.
let's make some picks here. Let's get this done. Steven texted in and said, "Is this the biggest week of Preston's NASCAR picking career?"
Listen,
Wow.
listen, man.
Yeah.
They keep telling me it's a long season, but I don't know. I'm feeling the pressure.
All right.
I'm feeling the pressure.
So it is our Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge. They are the official
Good
sponsor.
job, Steven. You get the show.
Reggie holds the trophy, and we couldn't get the trophy away from Reggie, so we couldn't bring that down here this time. So great for that. But Preston, you lead the way in one of the biggest weeks of your NASCAR picking career, maybe the biggest week.
Give me Kyle Larson.
He goes with the out and out favorite.
Yeah.
Give me, let's just stick with the tried and true. Run the play.
The Vegas
Run the play.
Run the play.
favorite.
Mhm.
And
You can tell
Josh,
he's nervous. He's a little
I
nervous.
don't feel good.
Josh had Kyle Larson 2 weeks ago in Homestead and won the race. All right, that brings us to Jen. Jen is a point behind Josh. Jen is at 21. Reggie and I are tied for the lead at 26. That brings us to Jen. Jen, where are we going?
Boy, I've been struggling with this one. I'm just not sure. Byron.
She
go
will
William
go
Byron.
with William Byron. And that brings us to Mr. Harris, who is right here in front of me. You're at 22. 4 behind us. You picked, again, the winner 2 weeks ago. Last week, though, you only got 1 point with William Byron.
Well, Bill, I hate to do it to you,
Hamlin.
but you know, Denny Hamlin seems to go on these streaks, and
He's won
he
here a
is really
lot.
good here at Darlington. He's got a cool throwback to Carl Edwards, who's going to be our honorary
Yeah,
starter
That's
on
cool.
Sunday. So give me the number 11, Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, I would have taken Hamlin. I don't know back to back. I would have loved him if he didn't win last week. I just back to back weeks, but I feel like what you've done there is guarantee yourself either 3 or 4 points. I feel like you're playing a good a safe top 5 pick. All right, I get 4th pick because Reggie won. Reggie had the winner last week, so I've got the 4th pick. I'm gonna take a chance here and go with Ryan Blaney. I think he's due. He's had some. He should
That's
have
where
won.
I've been nervous about him. Mhm.
He should have won 2 weeks ago, and his engine blew up. Was that 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
Yes,
You-
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, he
it-
should have.
Hurt me.
it's happened a couple of times,
Yes,
unfortunately.
yes,
but
he
he's
should've.
had speed all year long.
Was it last week? Was it last week that his engine?
I thought it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago
Yeah.
Yes, he should have.
at Homestead.
Okay, yeah. I'm
I
going
had him.
Blaney. I'm going Blaney, and then that brings us to Reggie. Do we have Reggie's pick
We
yet?
do. He wants Chase Briscoe.
Briscoe. Ooh.
Oh, going with the defending Southern 500 winner.
Exactly.
Okay.
Who
I
also
think
Chase finished top 5 in the spring too. So we'll see.
Okay, so he's got a good
he
history.
did.
Josh, we always appreciate it, man. We're glad to have you. You can hang around for as long as you want. It's your track, it's your property.
He has donuts to deliver.
They've got me busy today.
I'm about to say, I'm
Yeah.
sure his phone and pages blowing
I
up
was just
every
gonna say
second.
donuts at 8:45. I guess you guys are doing the last segment by yourself. I'm going down there to partake, but man, we appreciate it. We love being down here. I know we'll be back in August, but you guys have really done a special bang up job here.
Well, thank you. Appreciate seeing you all in person. Thanks for
Yep.
making the trip over from Columbia. It means a lot to us to have you here. So thank you.
We're even getting to the point we don't need Preston and I driving. We don't need GPS anymore. We're figuring it out. So we're just navigate, man. Appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you here in
Thanks,
just
bro.
a little
Thank you.
while after the program, and always a pleasure visiting with you. We'll come back. Hour 3 on the way. We'll get back into some women's Final Four and discuss a little bit more of the baseball series. Elijah Campbell will join us from Tampa. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for 30 years they have been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And it's that proven history that is your assurance that their professionals will get the job done with proper advice, service, and the results that are necessary for your facility to keep it dry and running long into the future. So give them a phone call today, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. From high rises to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee. So you know you're getting the absolute best quality team out there to make sure that roof keeps your operation dry and running. 803-356-1919. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
All right, a wreck at Percival Road, at Alpine Road, at Green Mill. That one just coming in. Good news, 77 South Saxagatha. Broken down car there earlier was causing problems. That's been cleared out of the way. We're looking also at Greystone and I-126 and Importive 1 at UG near Blossom Street. Weather outlook for today, 89 for a high. Partial clearing going to take place during the day. Tomorrow, 89 for a high. Once again, breezy and hot. Then Sunday, 88 for a high. Late day rain, though, moving in. And then by Monday, rain, 80% chance of it. And 71 for a high. Those temperatures are going to drop 49 for an overnight low. It's almost 20 degrees lower than we're going to be used to right around this time. And then Tuesday, 68 for a high, 40 degrees for an overnight low.
Josh Harris for joining us there for that half hour, and a lot of fun catching up with him. And Preston, you and Jen were talking after the break, just calm,
So
cool,
cool.
collected.
I don't know how. I guess in the same conversation we had with Chance Miller earlier this week, like the ADs, and that's maybe a theme for the show, but just being the person who's in charge of everything, the operations of every single detail, and people are just calling you when there's not enough toilet paper in the bathroom or the light goes out or whatever. Much props to him for sure, because this is a daunting task.
It is, and just several, because it's not just one race that they're putting on. Several races, obviously no truck races. Jen has pointed out multiple times this morning, but again, a lot going on. And I might try and sneak down here. We were talking off air about it. Was not a bad drive from Columbia. Preston and I hit the road about 4:15, 4:25, and was down here within 50 minutes. And just to come down here and hang out and see everything tomorrow morning before tomorrow's events get going, because it's a huge weekend, and it really gets going tonight, obviously. 5 o'clock, because that was the time last week. 7 o'clock tonight. And again, we'll have it for you, the women's Final Four game. 7 o'clock, 6:30 pregame. It'll be right here on 107.5 at the game is where you can tune in and catch it. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip-off. We've talked a lot about that tonight. Gamecocks, by the way, new spread on that, 5.5 now. Gamecocks are a 5.5-point favorite. Do you favor the team who's won 2 of 3 games when you play a fourth time in a season?
Yeah, it's just because in this particular instance, because they did win by double digits, I think that's a good enough data collection that you can say. And the game that they lost was a fairly close game. I would favor this team.
So
all biases aside,
yeah, I will.
But 4 times, but I'm sorry, but 4 times is a lot to play somebody, and that is they're very difficult task.
Yeah, I mean I'm trying to think back. We've seen South Carolina play. I want to say they played like Kentucky 3 times, or I can't remember what it was, but we've seen teams play each other 3 times in a season in basketball. Very rarely do you see the fourth meeting between the two teams. And you are right, South Carolina dominating really the 2 games that were not in Austin, Texas. So we'll talk more about that as we go through the hour. Elijah Campbell set to join us. Also tonight, South Carolina baseball, that'll get going out in Starkville. We'll have that on 98.5 the game for you. And as we've said multiple times, and we joke on this program, we like to cut up and laugh and not be too serious. We can be a little over dramatic at times. But no, this weekend series against Mississippi State, just for the sake of the season, it feels like if you win the series, you're still on life support, right? You're still there. You're not in. It doesn't get you into the college baseball NCAA tournament, but it keeps you on life support. It feels like if you go down, if you lose 2 or 3 this weekend,
you flatlined.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And for us who do radio, who kind of count on y'all to be invested in a program,
for sure,
we kind of need you to win.
Yeah, for sure. And that was getting to one of the points I was going to make. The team can believe whatever they want to believe, and they can believe that anything can happen in baseball. And I would expect them to come out and fight for the rest of the season. But I think this series is very important for the fan base to feel as if there's a reason to still be invested in the season.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, there's a lot riding on this. And that doesn't mean, again, that, well, if they win the series or sweep, that all is good and all is fixed. It does make next weekend more important. Whereas if you lose this series, it feels like, all right, you're just playing out. What is it? They've played 3 series, so it feels like you're playing out 21 more games from there on out. Or I guess 20 after this weekend. It'll be 18 more games. But it would put a real damper on the rest of the season if anybody would. I hate to say it like this, but true. If anybody would care.
Yeah, I mean, and to reiterate the point, this is the Spider-Man meme, live in action. Mississippi State 1-8, South Carolina 1-8. Mississippi State's overall record 17-12. South Carolina's record 18-12. 12-4 at home. We're 16-6 at home. They're 2-6 on the road. We're 2-4 on the road. So it's essentially the same team playing each other, and that's why this game is really important, because what we've been using to comfort ourselves is saying that we've been playing all of these really great teams: Arkansas, Oklahoma, Tennessee. Oh, those are top 10 teams. Well, this team is not. And so now we need to figure out, are we better than this team, or are we actually one of the teams at the bottom of the SEC.
Yeah, and that's so you've got that going for the baseball side of things in terms of the boys, the girls, the women, softball. This welcome to life in the SEC, right? Like, hey, another top 20 matchup. Mississippi rolls into town this weekend, and Ashley Chastain Woodard and that club, they're continuing to be fun to watch. They're continuing to be in competition for a top 8 national seed to host everything. And this week they get Mississippi, so good luck to them. They come off a 2-0 win over Wofford on Wednesday night.
So I was trying to look up the rankings really quickly because this sort of goes to my point. You said we're playing Mississippi, right?
Yeah, I think they're 19. According to Gamecocks Online, I believe they're 19.
And so, yes, we're playing in the SEC. Yes, all the time we've been saying, oh, the SEC is tough. But guess what? Mississippi's looking at us.
Yeah.
They're looking up at us and saying, man, we got to beat that South Carolina team. And so this is the difference of how we're looking at the schedules, whereas we are part of the conversation when you're talking about tough SEC teams as opposed to, oh, man, we got to play another top-ranked team. No, we are the top-ranked team.
And how sad of a program is that for them if they're looking at us saying, we really need to beat them, because they're really not that good.
Well, no, I mean, that's, again, South Carolina softball has turned it around. That in year one of Ashley Chastain Woodard's tenure, they've got it going.
Again,
And
you get a new coach, you bring in some players from the portal, you use the group of 5 feeder system to bring one of their best players with you. Things can happen.
Things have changed. So that's the South Carolina kind of rundown there on a little bit of the Gamecock whip around with women's basketball, baseball, softball taking place. Also, in Major League Baseball, it is a monster weekend for the Braves. All right, much like South Carolina baseball, where you just played really good teams. Dodgers, Padres, probably maybe the best 2 teams, maybe the best. Dodgers definitely. In the National League, Dodgers maybe overall baseball, you've played 7 games against them, and you're 0-7. You get the Marlins, and the Marlins are 4-3 coming into this game, and so it's not like the Marlins are 1-6 or 2-5, and you're like, oh, okay. But hey, Braves, you're batting 151 as a team. There's a lot of things wrong. What was the other stat you gave? 1 of 35 with runners in scoring position?
Yes, correct. 1 in 35. 1 out of 35 times with runners in scoring position. 6 out of 55 with runners on base, which would make sense because guess what? You're probably not going to have a lot of runners on base if you're not getting a lot of hits. Even though Marcelo Zuna has figured out a way to hit 188 and get on base a lot because he's walking
13 times.
And it's like, hey, Marcel, we don't pay you for that. We pay you to swing the bat, sir.
Well, it sounds like he's swinging it or not swinging it, and there's no in between. Like, I'm going to go up here and take
Marcel, you don't get paid for your good eye. You get paid to hit. Swing the bat, man.
Braves again will take on the Marlins this weekend. A monster series, not from the standpoint of standings. Kind of, Preston gave the stat yesterday. Somebody said 0-7. Preston said 0-8. No team has started the year we don't know if it's 0-7 or 0-8, but one person texted in yesterday with a screenshot of somebody who said 0-7. Preston said he read 0-8, but no team has started 0-8 and made the Major League Baseball playoffs. And the other stat to that, no team in the last 42 years, listen again, no team in the last 42 years has started 0-8 and had a winning record.
Oh. And that's not the expectations going into
that.
Is
Not.
That was not the expectation.
81-81 is not where people thought this team would be,
No.
Let alone maybe 80-82. So, big weekend there in Atlanta for the Braves. Especially they follow this up with Philadelphia coming in on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that's followed by a trip to Tampa. And Tampa playing there in a Triple Eight since the whatever they're doing. I forget all of a sudden the name of their stadium that was torn up by the hurricane. They're playing kind of in a AAA stadium right now.
Yeah, Tampa Bay was the owners notoriously not known for being generous.
They were like,
do we need to replace it?
Yeah. You guys can play without a roof, right? Like everybody else plays outdoors. I know Tampa's got mosquitoes and it's humid down here, but you guys are good, right?
Yeah, not known for being big spenders.
So a lot going on this weekend. Coming up next, we'll catch up with Elijah Campbell. Speaking of Tampa, he's down there. I think we've have him staying there in the what is the name of it? Tropicana Stadium, I think still. But I think we've holed him up there because it's free. But he is down there in Tampa. We'll catch up with him. this morning, get his thoughts as we prepare you for tonight's round 4 matchup. The final 4, South Carolina and Texas. And that is an odd fact that the 3 teams South Carolina's lost to this year, they're all in the final 4.
That's true.
I mean,
Goes to scheduling.
that goes to show you right there. Maybe the coop was not crumbling quite like we yelled and screamed at certain times this year. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. We are live from Darlington Raceway, where the sun is now starting to poke through. The grounds are starting to move. I'm keeping an eye out for the donut delivery wherever that's at. We're going to go check that out as well. You're listening to the early game.
Preston here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. Cracked windshield? No problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with the insurance to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are, school, home, work, Darlington, it does not matter. Absolute Glass will come out to you, give you a free quote, and take care of the job. Now, if you're at home and you're looking to increase the value of your home, you could do that with new windows or mirrors. And Absolute Glass will take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at absoluteglassinc.com. That's online at absoluteglassinc.com.
All right, looking at that new accident, it's going to be Garner's Ferry near Hallbrook. And this morning, we're also seeing going to be a very warm day, 89 for your high, partial clearing skies with all those clouds. But tomorrow, it's going to be breezy and hot, 89 for your high for tomorrow. Sunday, 88 for a high. But late in the day, rain should move in, 40% chance of that happening. And we'll see temperatures drop. Monday, 71 for a high with 80% chance of rain, 49 for your overnight low on Monday. Tuesday, 68 for a high, sunny skies, but still 40 degrees for an overnight low. And then Wednesday, 41 for an overnight low. So a little bit cooler temperatures moving in at the beginning of the week. This is Captain Dave in the Wetzel Automotive Traffic Center.
Oh, rolling along from beautiful Darlington Raceway. Jennifer Jensen, Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, as we have gotten you up and gotten you going and patiently waiting on those donuts that I'm peering out here from turn 3 to see where they're being delivered. Preston and I will make our way down there in a little while and try and see what we can locate. Also, there's a coffee truck, if I understood correctly. So a lot of fun to be had down there as it looks a good crowd as we look out over the infield this morning here. 8:19 on your Friday morning. Joined now from Tampa for the women's Final Four, Elijah Campbell. And Mr. Campbell, I assume you survived the first night in Tampa and you were now up, dressed, and ready to go to the arena and wait patiently for tip-off at 7 o'clock.
If by that you mean lounging comfortably in still my sleepwear at the desk in my hotel room with a laptop and a Comrex unit that I've yet to turn on, then yes. That is me.
Very, very similar. Very okay. Sounds like a good time, a fun time had by all. So give us the vibe yesterday, kind of around the shoot around and everything. What are you seeing? Boots on the ground there in Tampa. Kind of the vibe around the team at the shoot around.
Yeah, the vibe around the team. There's a lot of focus. I think, and really the common theme that I noticed when talking with players yesterday is that they know that their biggest opponent tomorrow isn't just the Texas Longhorns, it's themselves. Like they know what Texas does. They know what Texas is about. They know their players' tendencies about as well as they know their own at this point when you're about to play each other for a fourth time. I think they know how good their game plan is, and they trust the game plan because they've seen proof of concept with 2 double-digit wins against this group, and the only time they lost to them is when they didn't take care of their business, when they went on the road in Austin and only lost by 4 points. I think it's an execution thing, especially on the offensive end. They know they can stop Texas. They just need to execute better offensively, and I think that was really the biggest theme, was executing better offensively, and then also not losing the battle for 50-50 balls and the battle on the boards. I think those were the 2 biggest things too. And I asked players, like, what are the biggest things you got to do? And when it comes to execution as well. So I think they're pretty locked in, and the focus too is on how they can rectify their offensive mistakes that they've kind of made the last 2 games.
So let's say if a fan is just tuning in, they didn't see the first 3 games, but they're in the Final Four, so they're here now. What is the thing that's most likely to get them frustrated as they're watching Texas play basketball?
Texas grabbing offensive rebounds, because Preston, this is the 4th best offensive rebounding team in the United States in terms of offensive rebound percentage, right? And I think for the year, they grab almost 50% of their missed shots. And that would absolutely bother me. That's one of my fan pet peeves, right? Is watching somebody get constant second chances And if somebody, the hypothetical person I'm talking to didn't watch the one loss that South Carolina had against them at Texas, the theme that you would notice, especially in that third and fourth quarter when South Carolina was making that comeback and was usually about one stop away from getting a shot to take the lead or tie it up, they didn't get it because Texas, between Kayla Oldacre and Ashley Jones, got a ton of offensive rebounds in that game and did an incredible job on the board. So really the one thing that might make Gamecock fans want to pull hair out tonight and end up looking like Larry David by the end of the game is if they can't keep their bigs off the glass.
That's when you insert, just grab, get the ball, grab it. That's when you start yelling stuff like that.
Rebound!
Yeah.
Oh, all the time. Probably the most heard refrain at high school basketball games from parents behind the bench. Rebound! It's
Now
so
that
ingrained in my head.
block
Man,
out,
missing a
block
box
out.
out.
Everybody screams block out. How have you seen this team? The one when you mentioned that the young lady that I instantly go to tonight that we don't talk about, but was the big time recruit and has really had to come on for this team is I should say Sanaya Fagan is probably what I'm going with there. You look at what she's had to do recently. We know about Chloe Kitts, but that's another one I think that we talk about tonight that has to perform really, really well in terms of what you just mentioned with blocking out and rebounding.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And then also helping on the offensive end too. Chloe's been awesome offensively, especially in the Duke game where she really helped close it out. And closing time Chloe is a real thing, but we don't want it to get to where we have to rely on somebody in closing time. And this team's good enough to where you can probably win this game by a few possessions and not have to sweat it out. And part of that is Sanaya Fagan being active on offense, getting into her pull-up jumper off the bounce, which has become a lot more effective and that she used a lot at the end of that Duke game. And if you're just kind of using the blueprint of what other teams have done to defend South Carolina to give them trouble here in this NCAA tournament, a lot of it is double teaming the forward. And Duke tried that with Sanaya Fagan. She saw where the double came from, kicked it out. They got a 3-point look and scored. You're going to have to do that, right? It's going to take that type of execution. And if Sanaya Fagan can be able to keep moving the ball around, make her pull-up jumpers, get into that jump hook too, and be able to get her own shot and get rebounds and clean up on the glass like what we just talked about, then I like this team's chances because when Sanaya Fagan gets you 10 to 15, then they win pretty comfortably in a lot of those instances.
Yeah, and by the way, I've never heard of closing time Chloe until just now. Let's please not use that again. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't sit well with me, but no, let's not do that.
Oh, that's a good one. That's one of my
best.
That's
Good one. I would give you that.
Right
Maybe
there.
a little bit too good. Joyce Edwards, another player. You look at the Duke game. That was a problem for South Carolina. 4 points. I believe it was 1 or 2 rebounds. She only played about 15 minutes. This is a moment where Joyce Edwards, the top player, one of the top players in the country last year, she's got to kind of live up to her billing, and she's not a freshman anymore. When you play 30, what are they at? I don't know what they're 35 games, I believe, is where we are at now on the season. 37. So tonight will be game 38. She has to perform better than she did in that Duke game.
Absolutely. And the one thing I like about Joyce, when getting to talk to her a lot, when we have these locker room availabilities after games in the postseason, is that she's pretty self-aware. She's an incredibly smart basketball player. And I've talked to her a lot about maybe what teams are doing differently to her in the postseason. And when she had that 5-turnover game against Indiana, it's that she's getting double teamed and she's had a hard time kind of identifying where the double comes from because her back is to it, right? So every time I talk to her about getting those double teams once she puts the ball on the floor, she said my biggest thing is I can't have my back to the double team because when you have your back to the double team, you don't see where it comes from, you don't see where the open player is, right? Because when you have 2 on the ball. That's simple math, guys. Yeah, one person's going to be open, more than likely near the perimeter or around the free throw line. So she's really kind of identified what that problem is. And so tonight, when you watch her, she gets into her face up about maybe 8-9 feet from the rim, and Texas sends a double, which I firmly expect to once she puts the ball on the floor. Then it's going to be up to her to be able to see where that double comes from and kick it out to an open player. And if she's able to do that, and South Carolina can also just knock down a couple of shots, then you kind of are, as a defense, have to back off at that point. And then if Joyce can get those one-on-ones, that's when we see what she does best. That's her footwork in the post, being able to get into that jump hook and get into that shot around the rim. and that's when she's dangerous. And when she's scoring in double figures, then South Carolina's usually not playing in close games. So that's a really big factor for tonight.
Two-part question. When we win tonight, who does Elijah want to see the Gamecocks play in the championship? And who should the Gamecocks be a little nervous about playing in the championship? Can be the same answer if that's so.
I'd be nervous about playing both because of how UConn and UCLA are playing. I want UConn because of exactly what they did to you on your home floor. I want them to show America that was a fluke. I think it was a fluke. Now, can UConn still beat them on a neutral floor? Absolutely. I mean, the two teams that are playing after Carolina and Texas are the teams that are playing the two best basketball right now in America. Like, they're playing great basketball. I wouldn't want any part of UCLA because I don't like that matchup at all. Lauren Betts has been an absolute matchup nightmare. It's not because Lauren Betts scored 30. It's because teams aren't shooting the ball well around the basket against UCLA at all because she's the ultimate mistake eraser near the rim. And I don't know if anybody in college basketball has a matchup that is one-on-one equal with Lauren Betts. Now, that could change. Maybe they if they do play them, end up getting a good game plan for her. But the way I see it right now, especially with how UCLA's guards are playing, because they're shooting the lights out from three as well. And when they're doing that, UCLA is just almost impossible to have to play against. But I want UConn because I think that if UConn gets into a transition game, which is what South Carolina probably thrives on the most, when their offense is maximized, I think it's a lot in the free-flowing, full-court transition game. That's when you get Mylasia Full-Wiley at her best. I think that matchup suits what South Carolina just does better. And I also just that other side of it is I really want them to get that opportunity on the biggest stage in the sport to show that what happened on that embarrassing Sunday afternoon in the middle of February was an absolute fluke, because you saw exactly the statement UConn made in that game, how it propelled UConn to play their best ball the rest of the season. And that game be single-handedly used against you to keep you from being the number one overall seed. I think I want that opportunity for them to play UConn at that stage.
Elijah, we appreciate it. Good luck down there. I know we'll catch up with you probably Monday morning, but I always appreciate your insight.
Absolutely. Thanks, fellas. Good talking to you.
Good talking.
Appreciate it.
Elijah Campbell live from Tampa. We'll come back and continue rolling along here from Darlington. It is Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, Bill Gunner. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder and First Palmetto Bank. If you thought about refinancing lately, I know interest rates can be a hot topic and the housing market can be a hot topic, and maybe you thought about refinancing. Maybe you thought about purchasing a brand new home. Well, the very first phone call you need to make is to Jacob Crowder, the Mortgage Guru, to see what products are available to you, to see what options you have, see what the interest rates are, what your down payment is going to be, what your monthly mortgage payment could be. There's so many more questions that you need to ask besides just how many bedrooms and what is the square footage. These are the important things you need to find out because it affects your family's budget. With the Mortgage Guru, you can be guaranteed you're going to get the best interest rates and the best products, the best deals. So call today, 803-719-1005. Again, that's 803-719-1005. Tell him Bill Gunner sent you.
Got 3 kabooms on the road this morning. Got Blue Ridge Terrace and Monticello Road, Percival Road, near Alpine. It's going to be right around Green Mill. And then Garner's Ferry, Pineview, and Hallbrook. An accident there. Weather outlook for today, partial clearing skies, but very hot, 89 for your high. Tomorrow, 89 for your high too, but breezy. And then Sunday, 88 for a high, but late day rain moving in, turning it cooler on Monday when we have an 80% chance of rain, 71 for a high, 49 for your overnight low on Monday. Tuesday, 68 for a high, under sunny skies, 40 degrees for your overnight low for Tuesday. So a little cooler for you there. This is Captain Dave from the Wetzel Automotive Traffic Center.
Just about 2 segments left here for us, and then we'll turn it over to Tyler Head, who is down in the media center gearing up for the morning show. But we've got 2 segments left here live from Darlington Raceway. Thank you to everybody who joined us this morning, from Chris Deering with the high school highlights of the week to Josh Harris with the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge Pick'em, where big week for Preston.
Big week. Huge week.
Big
Huge
week.
week. You keep saying it's a long season. This is a big week. I gotta put some points on the board.
Jen, you with it a big week for him, or just another way? Are we being overly dramatic about this?
Probably being a little overly dramatic, but I know he doesn't want to fall too far behind. Basically, I'm in 4th and he's 3 behind me. And you figure the most you can max out if you win a race, you get 7 points. And then it's 4, 3, 2, 1. If nobody wins, the top placing is 5. So if you're getting even 5 points and Preston's getting 1 point, that lead stretches pretty quickly, and it's hard to make up some ground. So yeah, it's time to make a run. So I think Larson's a good call.
Reggie was coming a little unglued. Reggie is actually he's tied with me now. Reggie's in this thing because he's picked 2 winners this year. He's really not had a good year if you look at it.
No,
but he's picked 2 winners, and those 14 points have got him in a good place right now. I feel like I've kind of been the most consistent, constantly getting. Well, I mean, the last 1, 2, 3, 5. The last 5 weeks, I've either had 5 points or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I've either finished first or second. So pivotal week for you. And Preston goes with the odds-on favorite here, Kyle Larson. Reggie has got Chase Briscoe. I've taken Ryan Blaney. Jen going with William Byron, and Josh going with my guy Denny Hamlin. So I feel like I can. If Hamlin wins, I feel like I win because he's become my guy that I've just. We all got that guy you pull for, or that woman. I'm going with Denny Hamlin as my guy. I'm not going to buy one of those. What did he used to have? What was his before it felt like he did FedEx.
Yeah, he was FedEx for a long time.
He was FedEx because I was just thinking of the jackets that you'll see people wear, so
Racing jacket.
Racing jackets, yeah. So 803-404-6100 again down here live from Darlington. The sun.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. All right. Test. 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 That's good. Yeah. So Jack is going to be on the road, and I'm going to attempt to have him on StreamYard because I think that'll sound better than just having him on the phone. So I'm going to try that before we go on the air. If that doesn't work, then he's just going to be on the phone like normal. Well, I won't start mine until theirs is over. But I'll send you the link. And once their stream ends, just pull mine up. All right. Thanks.